As the investigation into the U.S. Capitol riots continue, an explosive audio clip has now come to light. Shortly after the insurrection, the House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy reportedly told the fellow GOP lawmakers that he would urge then-President Donald Trump to resign. And this is according to an audio posted by the New York Times and aired on MSNBC. Listen in.
Are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
I've had some few discussions. My gut tells me no. I'm seriously thinking of having that conversation with him tonight. I haven't talked to him in a couple days. Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Pence parting, anything like that. I mean, the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign. I mean, that would be my take, but I don't think he would take it, but I don't know.
The audio was recorded on January 10th, 4 days after the riots. McCarthy can be heard discussing efforts to remove Trump from office. Later in the same conversation, he said that he was not sure if Trump would take the advice. It is not clear whether McCarthy followed through on this idea or was he merely venting privately with his colleagues in the aftermath of the riots.
They're getting into the Capitol tonight.
Nathan, the recording was released by the New York Times, Jonathan Martin and Alex Burns on the Rachel Maddow show. McCarthy's office had insisted he had never said he would call Trump to say he should resign. But that statement was put out before the release of the tape. And since then, the Washington Post, I saw, had interviewed aides that indicated McCarthy and Trump have since spoken since the release of the tape, and that both were satisfied with the explanation.
McCarthy can be heard detailing a conversation with Trump in which he accepted some responsibility for the insurrection. He said, and I quote, "I have been very clear to the president. He bears responsibility for his words and actions. No ifs and buts. I asked him personally, does he hold responsibility for what happened? Does he feel bad about what happened? And he told me he does not. He does have some responsibility for what happened, and he needs to acknowledge that." On Thursday, when the Times published its initial story, McCarthy released a statement calling it totally false and wrong. The audio threatens to damage the relationship between McCarthy and Trump. Even though Trump was ousted in 2020's presidential election, he still remains one of the most popular figures of the Republican Party. McCarthy is in line to become the House Speaker if Republicans gain control during the fall midterm election. He needs Trump's support to become the House Speaker next year. And over the last 1.5 years, McCarthy has been leading the House Republicans and remains aligned with Trump. He called the Capitol riot the saddest day of his career and told his fellow Republicans that Trump bears responsibility for the violence. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.